All right, all welcome to the Wor Lasses show. It is 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and we are bringing you a very, very special Newcastle United Women's Derby show. As you can probably hear, my voice is just tanked. It's cold. I have a chest infection. It's horrendous. I'm on antibiotics. It sounds like I'm trying out for some sort of adult hotline. But never mind, it's a little bit more phlegmy and gross than that. Never mind. If you do hear a soother sweet rolling around my wide open trap like a mouth breathing cave woman, then yes, that's me. I'm sorry. But we do have a fantastic show prepared for you tonight. We have got interviews, we've got photos from Derby Day, we've got rants, we've got reviews. We have just got it all. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. As you can see, I am joined by ex-England player Aran Embleton. So we can't wait to get into things tonight. But before we do that, we do like to cover our hygiene factors, just so Paul doesn't have a go at me in my chat. Welcome to all of the new viewers, of course, and thank you to those who keep turning up every week, showing your support, giving us your likes, giving us your views. Thank you so much. If you're watching this live, we love you to get into the comments, interact and engage with us and with other people in the chat as well. Thank you very much to our show sponsor, Mamaroo Records. You would think it was Jakeman's Old Lady Cherry Sweets tonight, but it's not. It's Mamaroo, so we're thrilled with that. And if you can, do us a huge favour. Please spread the word about this show on a Tuesday evening. We really want to up the profile of the lasses and women in football. So drop us a like, nice and early, helps us with the search, blah, 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 all of that lovely stuff. Aran Embleton, Jemima Puddle Duck the Third, Monkey Pants Pickle. How are you? What a time to be a Newcastle fan. We have got the Carabao Cup. Dan Burn gets England. Lasses win the derby at St. James's. How are you?
Emotional.
Sorry, caught my breath. Yes, I'm emotional too.
God, Sam, what a week! I mean,
I know.
you couldn't have read it, could you? Like, walking away with the cup was just like out of this world, making history. I was crying. Oh my God, it was just amazing, the game for the lads. And then, yeah, the lasses went and won the derby at St. James's. So all in all, what a week. And Dan Burns there coming in for England, being called up, and, you know, the story that he's had from, you know, working in Asda and Blythe to running out in front of an England crowd was just, yeah, topped it off. Couldn't get any better.
It's just been a fairy tale, hasn't it? And I think now that we've got the bus parade coming as well, you know, this is just springboard for success for both the men and women's team. It's absolutely fantastic. And quick good evening to Sophie B. Hello there. I know that you were in Paul's show just before as well. Record attendance. So yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to jump into news. You teed me up there, actually, Sophie. So thank you very much for that. So we do have, as ever, if you're new, we do a general news update. We do Lionesses as well before we get into the Newcastle United Women's news. And then we'll take you through our review of the game. So first of all, huge update from Aran and I, and we really, really want your support with this. The Wor Lasses Instagram page has started. Please give us a follow. We really want to sort of get some dedicated lasses content out there. News. We're going to be posting some reels and some fun stuff on there. We're going to be doing some competitions and some giveaways as well. So give us a follow, share it if you can. We would really appreciate that. Next little bit of news is the Barclays Women Championship announced on the 17th that we've had the most attendance of the season ever, which is amazing. That's across the full championship. Sure, it just goes to show the sort of attraction for women's football now, the accessibility of it. It's all going in the right direction, which is absolutely fabulous for all teams across the championship and beyond as well. Next bit of news, you've got the UK expressing interest in hosting the 2035 Women's World Cup. So hopefully we can get some of those at St James's. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. We have seen some international women's games played there as well, so that'll be really, really great to see. And some interesting news here. And Aran, I do want to ask you about this. So FIFA are planning to introduce 2 new competitions: a Women's Club Cup, Club World Cup. Going to be every 4 years, starting in 2018.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then a Women's Championship Cup. That's going to be launching next year. So this is going to be an interesting one. The World's Global Cup thing, that's going to be like every 4 years, but only 6 teams can feature in it. Is this fixture congestion or great promotion? I don't know. What's the line?
It's a bit of both, really. But I mean, any extra games, any sort of cups that FIFA are looking to introduce can only be good for women's football in general across the world. Gives more exposure. Yeah, it's more games, of course, for the clubs that are included, but ultimately it's a global stage for them. And I think it's a really good idea. And you've got the Champions League, which is obviously every season, but making this a bit like an elite cup every 4 years, I think, it could only gain more support for women's football. It'll be obviously on TV, gain more of an audience, more sponsorship. All in all, Sam, I just think, why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Indeed, I like that. We've got a comment here. Hello, ladies. Greeting from the Cayman Islands. What a week!
Hi.
Love that international fan base turning out.
Love it.
Happy days with that one. Aaron, before I go on to the next bit of news that we've got, we want to do a bit of promotion here, because we've got a new team getting set up. You're a part of it as well, so tell us about this.
Absolutely. So we're looking to start up a team for Wigan Fellside, and it's the women's team. They've already got a team there as like a community team, which is great. They've got all different age groups already, but once you get to an age of under 14s, they don't really have anything after that. So yeah, I'm going to be helping coach the head coach of this team, and we're looking for anyone interested in joining. So we're looking around the 21st of May to start doing some training sessions, and the first open one being on the 21st between 7 and 8. So if anyone's interested, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or across any social media platform, and obviously we'll speak and get you into training, and anyone's welcome. So it doesn't matter whether you haven't played at all. More participation the better. So if you're brand new to football, never kicked a football before, don't be frightened. Everyone's welcome.
Love that. Okay, cool. So get in touch. Rewind the recording. The email address is on there, or you heard it from Aaron. Get in touch on Instagram about that to get more involved. We are going to move on to the England Lionesses update now. So the squad has been announced against the Belgium doubleheader in the UWNL. We've obviously, excuse me, we've got our classic squad members there who you would fully expect to see, which is absolutely fantastic. We've also got, I believe it's Simmons who's got the first call up as well, which is fantastic stuff, Aaron, yeah?
Yeah, it's always great to, have new introductions to the squad, especially when players are playing on form, and, she has been. So, yeah, it's great to see Serena not just keeping to sometimes the same squad over and over again. She's happy to introduce people, see how they perform on an international level, and obviously amalgamating the squad. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a massive game against Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Some more good news as well, particularly pertaining to England football. So the FA and the UK government are putting a huge amount of investment into women's football. It's going to deliver something like 30 facilities across the UK. It's this mission to build facilities that women and girls deserve. Fantastic. So big shout out to the Football Foundation. Premier League are involved in that, England Women and UK Gov. So thank you again for that. And also yesterday marked the 100-day countdown for the Women's Euros taking place in Switzerland. So that's going to be huge.
It's going to be epic. And we've got a little bit, haven't we, Sam? We've got a little bit of a sneaky peek, because I will be going down to St. George's Park next week and watching a training session with the Lionesses. So just watch the space. Watch the space.
Love that. Yes, I want all the insider intel on what that is doing. Please do. Now moving on to the Newcastle United women's news. So big congrats. Emily Murphy gets her Republic of Ireland call up. So again, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got contracts being signed. So Cataldo, she's delighted. She's so excited for what's to come as well, which is great. And also Beth Lumsden. These are huge to retain that talent. So what are your thoughts on that, Aran?
Beth Lumsden, for me, this season has been outstanding. The best signing I've seen come in and wipe the floor. She's been phenomenal. Assist-wise, goal-wise, down the left. She's just been unplayable at times for the right backs are struggling. No matter who we're up against, they're struggling against her, cutting in. But yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that she signed a new contract, we want to keep her. She's doing superb. I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, it's going to be massive, because we've seen them make such an impact throughout the entire season to retain that talent. I am very, very happy with that. So yeah, couldn't be happier for them as well. They seem to be absolutely thrilled to stay, and why wouldn't they? You know, beating the Mackhams in a derby day again at St. James's, the record-breaking crowd, 38,502 of you attended on Sunday. Unfortunately, and honestly, I could have cried. I could not attend. It's just killing me worse than this chest infection is. Luckily, our Aran was there to get to go and enjoy it with so many other reviews that were in the chat as well. I do want to give a really big thank you to Newcastle United, to the club directly. They actually granted Aran and I press passes for the day that I couldn't go to, which makes it even more painful. But yeah, thank you very much for that. And what a day it was. Please get in the chat and let us know your comments about your experiences. But like, Aran, tell us about, I mean, what is it? Tell us about it.
Oh, I haven't come down from it yet, man. 38,000, like, you know, everyone was on about smashing the record, and we got to around about 28.5, and then, you know, it was 29:30. But then 38,000, like, blows my mind. Like, it's just honestly unreal. One thing I will say, and I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, Sam.
Oh, I love controversy. You know, I love a bit of controversy.
Yeah, you do. That, you know, yes, we blew a record out the park. We did. And the Toon Army came out in force, as we always do, because up here, football means it's not just a sport. We breathe it. So everyone came out the woodwork. But what I would love to see is, you know, not just for the big derby games. Yeah, you're gonna get more supporters naturally, and it's at St. James's Park, which makes it even bigger. But I would love to see some of the supporters that turned up, 38,000 of them, to go along to Kingston Park as well. You know, because averaging crowds fluctuating between 2.5. Some games has been up there, you know, 7 last season, the last game of the season. I would love to see some of those supporters, you know, it cannot just be a one-off. It needs to be sustainable, where we see them supporters coming to Kingston Park, you know. But I'm absolutely over the moon, honestly. Like, the pride was just beaming out of us, looking around the stadium. The scene was set. the lads had just won the cup final, and there was the women running out to, you know, these 38,000 fans. So yeah, inside I had goosebumps, and I was thinking, come on, we can do this. And yeah, the game started from there, and it was just all go for the first half.
Love it. I don't think you were being controversial with it, but you know what? For me, I think this is just part of the journey for women's football. Like, it's not always going to
No,
be fair, but we've
no.
shown resilience, and then look at where we are. And actually, Sean Smith, NUFC 1892. Thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Yeah, 38,500 attendance was mint. I'm in Leicester. That's more than they get for the men's team. I've got a ticket for us away at Leicester, but got to sit with the Leicester fans. Lasses for promotion. Ooh, love that. Thank you very much for that, Shane. Do you know what?
Thanks,
For me,
Sean.
Aaron, everybody needs an origin story, and I
Mhm.
think if it's taken like a Carabao Cup to be a springboard for,
Yeah.
well, get yourself down here, have the winning
Mhm.
atmosphere. You know, we're on this great sort of gravy train of success. I don't know what the gravy train of success is. I don't know where that came from. I'm
I
going to
know, but it's
trademark
going
it
quite
though.
well at the minute.
It worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like people like to see glory. People like to
Mhm.
see winning. We can't get
Yeah.
away from it. But you know,
Mhm.
we've really had some struggles, and I think if this just gets people into it as a platform and it makes it accessible to think, do you know what? I could actually watch this week in, week out. It's so
Yeah.
cheap to get down the game. So please, we do
And that,
always encourage people to go in person.
I think as well, from the club's point of view, like that is what they're doing. You know, they're trying to catapult the crowds in to gain, you know, the interest to then get them to go down to Kingston Park. I would just love to see. So, you know, for our listeners, please, you know, rather than it just being, if you did go to St James's, please come along and come to Kingston Park. It's equally as good. The atmosphere is fantastic. It's very family orientated, and ultimately the season tickets and the even just on the day tickets is really, really cheap.
Mm.
So get yourselves down. Or if you can't, a lot of the games, if they're not on the NUFC app, they're on the championship. But I would love to see you at the game. And if you're there, please come over and see me and Sam. You know, don't be shy.
Yeah, for sure. And just a quick one to address here. Hey, I'm so sorry about coughing. Sophie, so we do not do watch-alongs for the lasses. No disrespect to any other channel that do. That is your prerogative. But for us, we are all about promoting the women's side, and as Aaron's just mentioned, that's attendance in person where possible. So in the future when it's WSL, I've got no doubt about that, then we might reconsider it. But for now, we need to help get people into that atmosphere and see what it's like to actually follow the lasses. So that's why we don't actually do it. We decided that a while ago. So just context. So it was a fantastic day, Aaron. But
Mhm.
I have a few gripes. I have some
Oh,
rants. I
come
need some
on.
more.
What is
My
it?
rant.
We won the cup. We won the
Oh,
derby. What's the gripe? Come on. I'm waiting for it.
settle yourself down, lass. Settle yourself down. Right, okay. As I said, I was gutted that I couldn't be there.
Mhm.
Got press passes and all that. It was going to be fantastic. And we do like the footage and, you know, our in game reaction and all that lovely fun stuff. But my gripe and please get in the chat. I know that there was some of our TTR fam in there with me on the Barclays YouTube channel. It was absolutely disgraceful, Aaron. The chat was disgraceful. The behavior from Sunderland fans was awful.
Oh, wow.
Racism,
Okay.
slander about some Newcastle United YouTubers like Adam P, which like I was very, very happy to defend in the chat, but absolutely disgusting things being said. Just any opportunity to have a go at a magpie in the chat. It was just so rude, unnecessary, and as I said, racism. Like our both sides took the knee before the game, and you're hearing stuff like it's just absolutely appalling. So Barclays Championship YouTube channel, get moderators. It ain't hard. Like your Barclays, for God's sake, it doesn't take a lot. it got totally out of hand, Aaron. And I ain't talking, fan banter. I love fan banter. It's great. But yeah, people in there just want to talk about the men's game and slag each other off. Like it just was absolutely beyond what I found acceptable.
That's totally unacceptable. Like,
oh,
no.
oh, it was totally. And I want to call out somebody in particular, because I absolutely took down your name because I am that girl. Carragher Murphy, I told you that we were going to be doing a show. Make yourself known. Come on down, because I personally think that you're a bully. Your comments, you act like you're a 12-year-old, and calling you out personally for slandering Adam P and what you were saying to other fans in the chat. If I'm not mistaken, you're actually a Durham fan, and I don't mind neutrals coming in and spectating and having something to entertain themselves with. But honestly, you rock up and spout what you do to a bunch of mags, you better believe that we're all going to band together and look after our own there. So honestly, just don't. You've been personally invited here by me. If you want to have an adult debate, I don't think you will, because you're an absolute bully and a coward. But come on down for next time. Contact me on Instagram, because honestly, you really just turned my stomach on Sunday. Anyway, that was one thing. Next up on the rant list, and it's not a rant, actually. It's a question, and I'm curious in the chat as well. I think it's relevant. The Carabao Cup being presented at the women's game, was it the right time? Was it the right place? My personal opinion, I'm here to see the Lasses. I think if that was presented at one of the men's home games, then that would have given a huge boost to a home crowd, like for a men's game. Could it have improved ticket sales? Maybe. I just don't know what you think about it, Aaron. I just want people's thoughts on presenting the cup there.
It's a bit of, for me, and I'm not sitting on the fence here, Sam. Honestly, I'm not. I promise.
Okay.
But I've had this discussion actually quite a lot since the weekend with quite a few friends that have raised it. And I see it from both sides, because we sold a lot of tickets prior to that, right? We'd sold about 30,000. Now, bringing the cup out at half time, ultimately, a lot of people are going to see that as, why did they bring it out at the women's game? But also it's helping to progress the women's game. So I think the club tried to do that, and knowing that if they can get more people at the women's game, potentially, it could get them down to Kingston Park. It would get them interested. But from a supporter's point of view, I've heard quite a few of my friends in the background have said, like, why did they bring it out there? Why didn't they keep a hold of it? So for me, there's fors and against for both. I get it, but I didn't see any harm in it. And what I seen it as, it was doing positives to try and help the club in general. Overall, I thought it was a good idea, but I know that I've heard a lot that hasn't been happy with it.
Got you. So there you have it, folks. Aaron Embleton, next term will be running for your local MP, because that was a classic politician's answer. I deserved that. Sorry. No, I do totally get it. It's just a bit of an interesting one. So I thought
it totally is. It totally is, and I see it. I do see it from both sides, because the club wanted to get more through the gate to be able to come and see the women's game. But if I'd said to you before the game, Sam, well before they had the opportunity to do that, to get more people to come to the women's game, would you not have thought that was a good idea for the women's game?
You know what? Initially, I'd be like, yeah, because we're going to get more. We're going to get more. We're going to get more people through. We're going to sell more tickets. Like Becky said herself, she wanted that record, but I was just like,
no,
I don't know. Like
we had smashed the record prior to that. That was
logic steps in, and I'm just like, could it have improved the men's performance for the next match? Like, the atmosphere. I don't know. It's in the past anyway. It seems like it's been a fantastic day for everybody. Yeah, too funny. Like the Sunderland fans, absolutely, Joe. I don't know if people have seen this online or anything, but the Sunderland fan, what an absolute rat who wiped his behind on a Newcastle flag in
Oh
in
yeah, I did
in
see that.
front of like kids. What
Mhm.
is your deal, you absolute miscreant? Like honestly, I just think, and the Sunderland fans are laughing at it.
Yeah.
Like, where's your sense of
I don't know where
decorum?
these people get their ideas from, because there's
No,
obviously it's a very family orientated sort of the
yeah,
women's game is. And yeah, there's absolutely no need for that, like really, you know. But yeah. But I seen it on social media and was just shaking my head. I was like, wow.
yeah, just wow. Oh, Tom's sitting next to Bernie. I take it you're off to get the hearing aids installed. Then, for anybody who doesn't go to the matches, Bernie is just the loudest and proudest
Yeah.
Toon Lasses fan. Absolutely class. You'll always see her on match day in the black and
Black and
white
white.
blazer, pants, hat, the
Do you know
whole
what it
regalia.
is? Bernie is the loudest in the ground. She gets the supporters going. She's got the banter, and she's just proud. She's a proud Geordie, and she's Charlotte Potts' mum.
Yeah,
So she's black and white through and through, and that comes across with getting the crowd going and everything. But you hear her no matter what. I mean, I was in the Milburn stand. She was over the other side, and I could see her and I could hear her first. Honestly, I could.
I
I
love it,
pointed her
man.
out. I can hear Bernie's voice, and I looked, and where the noise was coming from, I could literally pinpoint that in a black and white suit.
Oh, I just love it. But you know what?
Brilliant,
That's what
brilliant,
it
lovely
takes. Like
person.
this is what creates atmosphere and
Yes.
gets the players going as well. I did think it was nice. I'm sure I saw Potsy on the sidelines as well. So that was really, really fantastic to see. So I was proper pleased with that. Um I think I'm done with my rants and news, Aaron. I mean, it might not be. If something else might pop to mind, as it always seems to. But let's get into team selection. I'm going to bring up a graphic. You know, this girl loves a graphic. Tell us what
Yeah.
your thoughts are.
Yeah, so there was a couple of changes in there. Joel got dropped for Jazz McQuaid. Furness came in for Greenwood. And I think Becky went for a bit more physicality, bringing in Rachel Furness. She's like a bulldozer. And I think that's why that switch happened. And with Jazz, Jazz is she's a very direct player, where Joel is more of a holding midfielder. So I could pretty much see where the picture was going, where it was going to be all out attack. She wasn't going to sit back with this team. So yeah, apart from the likes of Charlotte Potts, really, I think it was a pretty strong team.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, I was quite happy with that as well. I mean, were you surprised by anybody missing from that starting 11? Because for me, I was like, oh, Hales isn't starting. What's going on there?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't, because the last couple of games it's been very similar, on and off kind of thing, with Murphy in there as a holding. But yeah, it's the scoring record from Hales. You know, she's firing on all cylinders, so I would have points in the direction of why isn't she playing, but clearly Becky had, I don't know what the switch was. I don't know whether she's resting. She's got strong forwards now. So is the case of she's an impact player, Hales, as well, when she comes off the bench, which we later see.
Yes, we certainly did see it later as well. And I think with Lumsden, we can sort of afford to sort of have that switch out and rotation as well. I found well, let's just get into it. Let's get into the sort of first half summary. Usually about this time, I'll always ask people, if you're just joining us fresh, or if you haven't done so already, please do drop us a like. Helps us find like-minded folk, and remember to follow the Wor Lasses on Instagram. But let's get into the first half, Aaron. You know, for me, we just came out the blocks running. We were having it. We were
Yeah.
really having it and getting into them. It was class. So
Yeah.
give us your synopsis.
We started off like we came out full force, and it was attack after attack after attack. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like Mel Ray, I've known her for a long time. She's got to have been standing on that line, the Sunderland manager, and being slightly concerned because the way we came out was phenomenal. I mean, there was chances from Beth Lumsden again. There was Gregory. We were just firing on all cylinders, and we were winning with second balls in midfield, which was the biggest thing. What Jewel sort of fighting between the two of them, when whoever you put up against, we were winning our duels individually, which made a big difference. So the first half, it was all us. It was all us, and I was a little bit disappointed, if I'm being honest. And I'm saying this like, obviously, I want us to be going forward and not letting Sunderland have a single attempt, but I don't know. I expected more coming from Sunderland, or was it the occasion that dominated? And like Mel said, it was a monster crowd at St James's, and it was. And their intimidation. It's, you know what it's like, whether you're on the pitch or whether you're a manager. It's intimidation. And for the likes of Mel, it's got to have been hard because she's been the Newcastle manager before,
Yeah.
and she's played for them. She's then played for Sunderland and now the Sunderland manager. So it's one of them that I think the occasion maybe frightened them and they felt intimidated because it was just waves of us, which is great. But yeah, I did expect a little bit more from them in the first half.
And you know what? Mel deserves respect, whatever side you're on. I think there's the golden thread throughout all of us is that this region is, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like, so much respect to her because this is sort of grassroots when, the times when you were sort of trying to come up through the ranks, Aaron, and struggled so much because there wasn't the appetite there. Now things have shifted dramatically. So, absolute, tip of the cap to Mel and everything that she does. Now, I think for me, Aaron, I was quite excited, especially that early chance from Lumsden. That was like within 2 minutes, just goes between two players. And I mean, the ball absolutely hits their goalkeeper square in the face.
It literally did. And do you know what it is? Like, Lambourne came out and Beth went one-on-one. And I think in hindsight, as a player, she probably looks back, Beth, and thinks, I should have finished that. But what a cracking save it was. She made herself big as she came out and managed to just I think it was she got her arm to it, or it just hit off the inside of her shoulder. But yeah, great start. And it showed what it was going to be like from the off, and it never stopped. The intensity of the game was very high. The pride on both sides. It was the scene was set really within the first 5 minutes. It was battle of the wits at that point. Who was going to win their duels?
Yeah, it was almost like the battle of minds. And we obviously had the crowd, the home ground on our side as well, which I think meant masses to us. You're right, it was like tsunami at time. It was like, get your surfboard, Sunderland, because like it is wave after wave after wave. I thought Gregory was fantastic, actually. Really, really great performance from Gregory. Stokes, oh my goodness, I'm such an admirer. Just her strength, balance, how she intimidates. Like, she was fantastic in the first half as well. Now, Gregory, to her credit, bless her, she did slip. Sent Sunderland on the counter. I think there was a bit of a miss kick. But Gregory, to her credit, absolutely powered back. Great winning the ball back as well. Sunderland did end up getting a shot off, but it went over the bar. But Gregory, hands up, apologised. I mean, she slipped. It wasn't her fault. But actually, just seeing her powering back, that's how much she wanted it. It was class.
Yeah, and I mean, we have got that. When you're saying about Stokes at the back, and obviously Gregory next to her, like, they are very fast players on that side. And if we do lose possession, we've always got the speed to get back. A bit like in the men's game, you've got Kyle Walker, he's super quick, and if there's any problems at the back, there's not many people going to outrun him. So we have got the speed as a left back and left winger. And then you've obviously got Beth on the other side, and she's super quick. So we've got a pretty solid team. But yeah, it was a good half, a very good half. And I was sitting on the edge of my seat numerous times thinking, it's whether we're going to score. And it just didn't come. We weren't clinical enough. We had plenty of chances in the first half to go 1-0 up.
Yes, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
but
It
we've
could have been
struggled
3
with
or
this.
4 in the first half alone.
It really could. I mean, Furness had a couple of shots wide as well. Like, can't forget those. But this isn't unfamiliar territory now for us to be lacking. We're not lacking in chance creation. We're lacking in the clinical finish in what we're doing, especially against a low block for me, Aaron, because we're going for those long balls, which are obviously harder for us to score from. We're sort of got that relying on, players like Lumsden. And then if we have like a bit of ping pong in the box, I think it actually happened during this match in the second half, which we'll move on to shortly. Good timing. Where Cooper even has a shot because she's like scrambling in there and she gets really involved. We saw her score from one of those similarly. So yeah, I'm not sure how we can sort of refine that. Is it just time? We've got new squad players. Maybe we just need to get used to each other. But I mean, for me personally, I think Murphy's going to be a huge game changer for us. I thought she was just fabulous.
Yeah. Her and Hales are very similar players that have more of a holding centre forward. They'll always hold the ball up and play your midfield in, but ultimately both of them are very good with the head as well. And when you've got the likes of your two wingers being like can deliver a ball into the danger area like they can do, Lumsden and Gregory, you're going to have one of them with the head on it, whoever's playing, and they're both equally very good with the head. So yeah, overall, first half I thought was superb, Sam. Superb. We couldn't have asked for anything better. The crowd, the atmosphere. We just needed the performance to be there. It was. Do I think we could have been a little bit more clinical? Absolutely. And we could have been 3 or 4, but sometimes the occasion gets to you, and it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think some stats within the first 20 minutes, like it was over 60% possession, 6 shots on target. It was just like dominance. I think the occasion definitely got into heads a little bit there. Like we looked great. It was just actually just finishing off those chances. And I think to finish off the first chance, I think Furness had another long range shot as well. There was a bit of a fumble in the box at that point for it, but yeah, I think it just goes to show how much they actually wanted it.
Yeah.
So Aaron, we'll jump into like second half now. Like, folks, get your comments in the chat. Let us know what you thought about it, but give us a bit of a summary on that. Did you hear us?
No, say that again. Sorry, Sam. It went off.
Are you not listening to us?
Yeah, it went off.
Chat, can you keep me right? Is Aaron ignoring me, or did my camera go off? Again, Mike rather. Anyway, I will repeat it just for your benefit. I'm sure everybody in the me. Summary of the second half. There you go.
All right, okay. Second half, it wasn't as high paced as the first half. We didn't have as many chances. It was a game of two halves. It really was. Like it went very scrappy, especially in the middle. I thought was ping ponging all over. Well, possession compared to the first half was we were stringing 1 or 2 passes together, and then we're losing it, or it was being intercepted, or it wasn't finding the player or the pass that we were looking for. And I thought, is the table going to turn here? Because has Sunderland weathered the storm as such? And it's one of them. You can play as well as you can play. You can create as many chances, but sometimes you get the counter attack, and that team end up scoring, and you're like, how's that even possible? And I was hoping that that wasn't going to happen. Luckily, it didn't. But I thought, when Hales came on, the ball was played through by Murphy. She held onto it, and it was perfect timing because Hales, you could see, she, as a centre forward, when you play up front, you're always looking across the line. And sometimes you switch for your centre forward, so you'll shout switch, and their midfielder knows you're going to switch and then plays the ball into the person running. Now, Murphy could see exactly where Hales was going, and she veered off to the right, played the ball in, and I think it was Strabbleton and left back, number 2. She turned away. Schoolboy error as a defender. You can never, and people that are listeners will know when they watch football, you cannot really turn your back on the ball, and she did, and she turned her back because she was a bit confused with where moving her body around, and Hales literally cut in, hit it with I think it was her left foot into the bottom right-hand corner. So because the angle where it was, the keeper couldn't see either, which made it very hard for the keeper to dive, and she'd probably seen it last minute, but it was too late. But yeah, left back from Sunderland, yeah, you can't turn your back on the ball, and she did. I think Hales turned her inside out, that was it, and she didn't know whether to go left or right, and ultimately she ended up turning her back, which gave Hales 2 or 3 seconds, give her the space there, and she hit it, and it was in the back of the net. So, like, absolutely fantastic, and that's what you get with timing. When we've spoke previously, Sam, about, it takes time for bedding in as a team with that many new players come in, which we have. You wouldn't know that your teammate up front was going to make them runs when you train together every day, when you're playing and you've had plenty of time to get to know each other really, and how each other play, and the way you're going to run off and how you're going to spin and beat the offside trap. Like, that was the perfect carbon copy of the right thing, and you could see the results there because she sat, and I watched her look along the line, and I was thinking, don't go yet, don't go yet. And the timing was perfect. That ball through straight to her feet. By then, like I say, the left back was struggling to get her body position right. And in the end, she ended up turning her back on the ball. She gave her the space, and it was in the back of the net.
Oh, Aran, I felt like I was there for a second. That was wonderful to relive it. But we can actually relive it because thanks to you, we've got some footage that we can actually play and not get copyrighted. So here we go, folks. Please let us know in the chat if you can actually hear the noise on this video. Like,
don't diss the photography. I tried.
She does football, people, not film and photography.
Exactly,
but let's see.
exactly.
Ah, love that. Absolutely loved it.
What a finish.
What a view you had. What was that?
It was a good view. It was great. Oh,
I know she's being needy. She's being a needy girl like her mum. She knows I'm not well.
Cute. Yeah. I had a great view, and players were straight into the corner, and the passion as well, saying, like, we've not got to forget there's quite a few players in vice versa teams that have played for each other's teams. Which is hard. There's quite a few. Rachel Furness, she's played for Sunderland. You've got the likes of Charlotte Potts. Obviously she wasn't playing, but she has. We can go through them. Oh, Demi Stokes used to play for Sunderland, and it goes on and on and on. Our morning goal. So it's hard when you come up against old teammates and to see the pride that you could see it. Rachel Furness was bursting. She was ready to run into the crowd. They were nearly crying, and the atmosphere, just the stadium erupted, absolutely erupted. It was fantastic.
Oh, it was great to see. I think it was well earned. It had been coming. It was earned. It should have been sooner. But I think what an impact that she had. It was, yes, Martin's nailed it here. Clinical.
Yeah,
say that again. It was clinical.
And she has been. We spoke about it quite a few weeks ago about the finish, and I said, we were creating the chances, but we weren't. I felt for the amount of chances we were getting, we weren't clinical enough. And that chance straight away was like 1-2 back of the net. So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And here's a good one, because I wondered this. Why was Becky given a red card? It was late in the game. It was like in like dying minutes. Like, obviously tensions are high.
Yeah. So
something's been said.
Like any manager, you get caught up with the momentum of the game, the excitement. Obviously, it was winning at that point. We're winning 1-0, and I could see her because she starts to pace. You see her in the box and just back and forwards, and she's saying to the referee, "How long's left? How long's left?" Now, I don't know how true this is, but I think the ball went out for a throw-in. She put her foot on the ball, Becky, and she was deemed as impeding in the game, as holding the ball and wasting time. So she was shown, and I think the FA regulation is, if that happens, and from coaching staff, it's a direct red card. So yeah, she was sent off straight down the tunnel, and I think that's the reason why. But yeah, you can't, as a coach, and coaching staff can't really hold on to the ball to slow play down or anything like that. I mean,
just fair.
I don't think that she'll meant anything malice by it, and it's down to interpretation, really. We didn't see it, we couldn't see how close it was, but ultimately the red card went out, and off she went. And she was back out after the game, running around the pitch, screaming, obviously, because we'd won the derby. Yeah. But yeah, it's got to have been hard going. But yeah, as for Sunderland, Mel will go back to the drawing board now with her team, and she's a very good coach. She's been in the women's game for a long time. And yeah, it's, for me, there hasn't been much between the two teams all season. Sunderland didn't have the greatest starts. They had about 2 or 3 games off the belt where, they struggled to win. We were mid-table by then, and then we couldn't get the results, and they did. And then they obviously were bouncing between each other. But yeah, it was close to call. But with everything, obviously, looking at attempts on goal, I think we had 11 attempts to their 4. Possession, I think it was 60-40 to us. Amount of corners, I think we had something like 7, they had 1. We won every single area of stats wise when you look at it. And it tells you the better team won on the day. And we also had the crowd. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And even to like the untrained fan eye, this lass over here, like absolutely, it was our game. The lasses absolutely smashed the back doors. And what an occasion. What a time in our history to get a derby win at St. James's as well, which was absolutely fantastic. And what I want to sort of tee up next is you kindly did some videos for us as well, spoke to a couple of fans after the match, which we're going to play for you shortly. What I will say is there is a little bit of sound in the background, but you will be able to hear the interview. It's just because of environmental noise. So yeah, here we go.
With Gemma, who's come all the way up from Southend back home. So Gemma, what brings you back to St. James Cotton? Why, you travelled all the way from Southend back to watch this game? Have you come home to watch the game, or?
Yeah, that's the only reason I came. It's Derby Day, isn't it? So it's the occasion. It's at St. James's Park. It doesn't get much better, especially especially for the lasses as well, like being back home and watching Sunderland beating Sunderland, like there isn't a better feeling.
Absolutely. And the game in general, the atmosphere here, like how do you feel it was? Like,
Oh, brilliant. Like, obviously the atmosphere has always been, but Derby Day just brings that extra buzz around the stadium, doesn't it? And like 38,000 fans, like that's brilliant. To pack out St James's with that many fans is fantastic.
yeah, absolutely incredible. And I mean, it was touch and go for a long time within the game, and I couldn't say where there was a goal coming from. I'm being honest, once it got near the end of the game. Shania Hill's finish was outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. I think everyone was trying to kick every ball in for them, like, but yeah, to finally get that goal, like, what, in 80th minute it was, like, it was building and it was coming and finally got it.
And just to top it off, we've got a glimpse of the cup
Yeah.
at half time. I mean, what does that feel like as a supporter?
Oh, brilliant, especially like winning the cup. We've waited so long, and then for them to bring it out today, especially for me, I can't come back up next weekend, so yeah, it just topped the day off as well.
Thanks very much, Gemma.
That's all right.
I noticed there was a Sunderland fan crying in the background of that as well. It was a child. I'm joking. But yeah, like people have come from all over to see the match, and it was wonderful to see so many people turn out for it, and for people to travel as well. So if you travel to see it, please get in the comments and let us know. We do have a final interview to show you as well, so we're going to roll this one now.
Caught up with some more fans from Newcastle United Women, and we're here with Healy and our three little ones. Healy, how did you find the game?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Was on the edge of my seat considering that we were 0-0 down at half time. I was a little bit worried that we weren't going to claw one back, but a brilliant 77th minute goal, well deserved, really good. Atmosphere was amazing, so yeah, well deserved. Really good win.
It was touch and go, and I was sitting on the edge of the seat myself thinking, what's going to happen here? And I'm thinking it looked like it was going to be a draw, but at the end it was a goal.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. 77th minute as well, which meant we had a little bit of time to spare. Some good subs who are very happy because who went on at the very end? Katie Barker went on, so you are pleased Katie Barker got on there, didn't she, for our last 5 minutes. Amy Andrews as well. Good to see them getting a little run out today. Some of our favourite players. Who do you think was your favourite player today? Who did you see who played really well? Beth Lumsden did really well today. Who else played really well today? Number 12, Gianna Cooper did really well today. She did. She made some really good clearances. We're really impressed by her today. Yeah.
I was just speaking to somebody else at the ground, Gemma, and I mentioned to her about seeing the cup, a glimpse of it. Like, how did you feel when you went?
What was your reaction when the cup came?
It was
You went, it's the cup! It was brilliant. That was a really good moment, and I think we deserved that. Like, not just because it was the men's team that won it, but because, like, as a region, we are united. So that was a good moment for us all together.
brilliant. Thank you very much, Ian.
You're welcome. No worries. Thank you.
Oh, I think I might have changed my mind about seeing the cup now. Here it is, like, oh, seeing the cup, yeah. Oh,
He was over the moon. He was so excited, and I mean, and I've just seen a comment in the chat there, Sam, that there was people over from New Zealand, all over the world came over. It's that big of a deal for Toon fans wherever you are in the world. We seem to travel, and we do that because we bleed black and white, and it's amazing to see. I would just want, like I said earlier, I would love and I ask you all to come down to Kingston Park. If you haven't been there before and you enjoyed the game, get down to Kingston Park. Honestly, it's a fantastic atmosphere, and it's just like cheap wise, it's tickets are next to nothing. Get yourself down.
yeah, do get yourself down. We do have a question here for you, Aaron, from Yvonne.
Yeah.
Where are you from, lass?
Yvonne, not fully related, but Aaron, are you from the West Scotland Islands of Arran on the east coast of Emblem, by the way? Retire from a new somewhere. All right. So no, I'm not. I'm born and bred, and I was born in Ashington, brought up in Dudley near Cramlington. But yeah, so I retired around about 26, quite early on in my career. Played for Cowgate Kestrels which was obviously sent on Newcastle, West End, and then it became Sunderland Women. So I joined Sunderland Women when they amalgamated, as we didn't have a team. Like, we were in the Championship and there was only us. It was either fold the team or join Sunderland, which had the funds, because we didn't have funds to play at that point. And then moved on to Doncaster Bells, as they were in what's the equivalent to the WSL. It was the Premiership Women for then. So yeah, that's kind of my history in football. And Newcastle at that point, and they unfortunately they weren't in the Championship, they weren't in that league, so I had to be playing for the highest team in the Northeast and then move on to a Premiership. So yeah.
There you go, folks. We did do an interview with Aran as well. It's back in the back catalogue, so check it out, because Aran's career, I know we've known each other for, what is it, like 12,
Forever.
13 years? I think it might be even more than that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like, Aran's career is astonishing. So please go and check that video out, because just unbelievable. Do you have a question? Toon LA Old Guard. Would there ever be preseason games in the States versus American clubs? I think there would be appetite for that. Absolutely. We see the men's teams doing it, especially when you see teams like Arsenal, the following that they have, Arsenal Women, and credit to them, because they do so much for women's football. I'll always tip the cap to a club that deserves it, and they just do so much for it. So yes, I can absolutely see that happening. Before we look to close the show, as ever, in fact, do you know what? I'm jumping the blooming gun here, because I want to show you some photos from the day, because they were just superb, and let's revel in it. So obviously ended full time, 1-0, absolutely class. The joy. This is my favorite photo of the day. My absolute favorite. Amber Keegan-Stubbs looking like an absolute warrior. Guns, by the way. Like, victory, stance, and just the face on Sunderland, the exacerbation is just, yes, they can feel the loss on there. So that is my favorite. We have then got this, how happy, you can see what it meant to her, and actually the tears at the end of the game. Like, I don't know whether you could see it for those who were actually at the match, but I mean, sobbing, because it meant so much to her. Like, I thought it was fantastic from Hales. Like, I mean, she's one of the Jamaican reggae girls as well, international for them. But to actually see what it meant to her, she told Newcastle United in one of the after interviews that, her family couldn't be there, but getting to like ring them and tell them about, it was just fabulous for the win for her.
And do you know what it is, right, Sam, that what I really, really liked, and it was quite touching, and I don't know if you've seen this, but Georgia Gibson sent a letter to the lasses to be read out by Becky Langley before the game.
Oh my God, George.
To wish everyone, to wish the team, because she's obviously on loan at Middlesbrough, she's still part of the team, to say, look, go on, lasses, you can do this, you can win it, and sent like a letter to kind of, give them a bit of a boost before the game. And it was quite emotional when the letter was read out before the game, which I thought was an absolutely outstanding touch. It's always nice to get something from, especially Georgia, when she'll love to score in front of the Gallagher. And some of the teammates, like, to say, come on, we can do this. Do you know how much this means to us as Geordies? Come on, it's part of our blood to win this game. And yeah, it was great to see.
Wow. So was that before the match then, Aran?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, Brian H, class act. She certainly is. Again, in the repository, in the back catalogue, we got to interview Georgia Gibson, and she was absolutely every bit the role model, inspiration, fantastic lass.
Yes,
she was
very
phenomenal.
Good role model. I did it was about 2 years ago. We were doing trying to get anyone that just wanted to start women's football down at the Parks and No Shields. So we did like an opening of there was Katie Barker, was Georgia Gibson, there was me, and then anyone that wanted to join in. And them two on one team, I was on the other, with the teams. And yeah, she was a very nice person, really professional, and generally like humble. It was great to see. So she's cracking person.
I love that. Final photo in the dressing room.
What I like
Victory
to see.
photo. Oh yeah, absolutely love that. Absolutely class in that famous dressing room as well. It's Michael.
I was just going to say, are you passed your germs through the mic?
Oh, I would if I could, because I love you and all that. So
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
sympathy cough. We will begin winding down the show, talking about the league standings here, Aaron. Obviously, we're on 15 matches played, so we've got essentially 1 or 2 games in hand to some of the other teams in there. But give us like a bit of a summary here. Most important point that we do like to remind people, if you're new to watching the Women's Championship, that because it's so tight, because there's so few teams, it fluctuates massively on here, Aaron. So give us a little bit of a summary on there, just to call out as well. Sunderland have gone below us in the table.
I was waiting for it. I knew you were going to get it in there. Yeah, we bounced over. We leapfrogged with 2 games in hand, which is great to see. But as you can see, obviously, Bristol, we've still got a game in hand over Bristol, which would take us really level with Durham, up to 4th place. So it's imperative that, we keep that winning mentality into the next game and keep it going, and see how far we can push up that table before the end of the season, But overall, I mean, Sheffield United and Blackburn Rovers, they have struggled this season, as well as Portsmouth. Portsmouth obviously just coming up like we did, but we do have the funds behind when we've done a lot of putting the boundaries, the foundations together at the bottom. So we've done exceptionally well for our, like I see, coming into this league. But I still think that, with the games in hand, we can push up there, see if we can get level up with Durham and work from there, hopefully higher.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to Portsmouth as well, because they've really struggled this season. I believe Portsmouth actually beat Sunderland last week as well. So
they did.
It's been a bit of a tough fortnight for the Mackhams. Ouch, but never mind. And finally, as ever, we do like to promote the Lasses going watching in person, Kingston Park, Mother's Day. Get yourselves, it is Mother's Day, isn't it? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they're doing something special, actually. They're inviting mothers and children on the pitch, which I think is a really nice touch. Yeah, it is really nice. But that's all, folks. That is the end to this evening's show. I do want to say a big thank you to all of our moderators, of course, to Aaron, who has joined me this evening, as well as all of our regular viewers and new viewers, and those who have sent us super chats as well. Apologies again for my terrible voice, but we made it, Aaron. We are here. Signifies the end to a beautiful time in history for Newcastle United. So
do you know, pump it up, Newcastle win the cup. Don't you know, pump it up, we've won the cup.
Hey, okay, that's absolutely killed me now. Okay, thank you everybody for watching this evening. Have a great evening and catch us next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Come back and check out the green.